The true baptism of John the Baptist and of Jesus explained. What do you do to keep your first class AMG Mercedes running like a peach? There are principles you must adhere to if you will keep this proud possession in a wholesome way, right? So that it will perform phenomenally, I'm saying, right? I say wholesome to mean that which is conducive to good health and physical well-being. This is how you use the reference, even erroneously when referring to three-dimensional beings like man. Man is not just physical. Therefore, his well-being must include spiritual and mental factors as well. The word that explains wholesome in the case of mankind would likely be holistic, not holy, but holistic. Words like holy and sacred are old trick words. These truths are not readily apparent to you, but to me, they are too obvious. I cannot speak on them today, but to those that see this trick by my mere words, kudos. Words are powerful. No complete possession of man or conquest of worlds was ever done by any other means but by words. Words are the beginning and ending of all, and with them are bestowed in man the mightiest powers of sorcery in mind science. Mind science used for evil is sorcery, but it is these subtle twists upon vocabulary words. It is that slow, progressive, step-by-step way of moving the target, of slowly eroding meanings that cast the sheep to hell and to this passive, mediocre mindset, far from God, where they are outside of themselves, begging at the gates of esoteric and hoping a wise master, will tell them or prescribe what next to be or what to believe. Sacred or holy are prejudicial and exclusive trigger words, substituted for the condition of being holistic. Holistic meaning that you cannot separate, but you are one with the whole. The substitute words now define a condition that you are faithful to a particular order and are included, but only for that exact reason. When it becomes a particular order, a specific order, separated from universal all, then it becomes prejudicial and will cause divisions and codependencies, divide and rule. But what else to rule by but a God spell? Sometimes I look at these evil spells in the earth languages and wonder why some of your psychologists that are touted to be so knowing do not ever discern them. No, I don't truly wonder. I don't truly wonder. I know that it is because their sense of being, the holistic being, has no part with neither the spiritual nor the God factor of mind that is in man. They explore concepts of a passive minded template, but never that God factor of mind in man, which is the science of divinity. That should have been taught. But if it is taught, there will become the golden ages, and the leaders will not be higher than the masses. All would be equal. I bet most of you do not know this societal model, that it works well and even better. This societal model is created in a circular form, not as a pyramid, and the leaders are in the center and not at the top. So, I explained that holistic means the parts of our dimensional beings are interconnected and can be explained only by reference to the whole. Holy means sacred or being connected to God, a God or a religious purpose, and so is worthy to receive veneration. Veneration means to be regarded with a high degree of respect by a religion, a group, or an individual. This definition is divisive and prejudicial. It is divisive and prejudicial. And in those dark days, thousands of years ago, it was established for the reason of separation in order to turn truth into the esoteric and then give power to that esoteric. It was to turn the truth into the esoteric and then to give power to that esoteric. If you cannot know the truth, if you cannot trust your own understanding, then you will depend on the external definer or diviner for definitions. By this mind science, by this mind science, Almighty God, with all healthy wisdoms, was transferred from the internal man to the external plane. By this way, diviners defined corruption to him as kosher. This is a part of the great spell of confusion as referred to in the Bible. This Baba or confounded vision spell surrounded world science, but art and other sciences used as magic were pivotal in working to convince the last being. In order to heal, he was offered a healer to whom he had to bow. It started from the little things and grew today into an even more massive God spell fortified by his forgetfulness. The beings that we refer to as vampires were of two types. There was one that wanted to use your energy. If I sit and watch you labor and plant my vineyard without doing it for yourself, I use your energy. From this same principle of moving energy, the concept of money was formed. Money was and is one of the most powerful God forces that exist in all the universes, known or unknown. Value on paper, for example, might be used as a means to extract this God force, meaning your value, from you, like the ability to plant 10 vineyards as compared to a single one that the other man can muster. This is your value. And this is why you are more wealthy than the other person. You can plant 10 vineyards to his one, and the value transferred to a piece of paper can wrongfully even the odd. It's a paradox. In fact, it's an unholy paradox. Strength and the power to heal are God forces. Food heals. There were other vampires that brought man into a new diet, and that inferior diet, sometimes consisting of animal flesh, poorly prepared and handled. And at one time there was a lot of blood food. There was food there. Some they used to even drink the blood. So these poorly prepared and handled animal food was causing too much physical diseases. Huge stomach worms were an ancient epidemic for a very long period, and people died from them without even knowing. Bad health, bad mind, bad mind, bad thought, bad thought, bad spirit, then Satan lies within, right? God has been cast out. Satan destroys you by way of parasites and diseases. Parasites and diseases torments the soul, torments the spirit, torments the mind, and he becomes not a sinner, but the one that breaches divine contracts. Hmm? He infringes upon righteousness, but he is not a sin. Yes, we say black male, but why didn't we say white male? And we say a sin. Why didn't we say another word? Why didn't we say Dutch? Because a sin is the tribe of a Yesu, and the definition of that word as a sin is akin to the definition of that word as black male. I like to stick up in at times and reveal certain things that you should understand what is happening in the world. In the beginning was word, I'm saying, and I tell you that mind science used for evil is sorcery. So the Asin brought forth a yes you, but look what the word Asin has been modeled to become. You see, the condition of that civilization of man as his and his holistic principles and his connection to God was going and gone all the way down for the civilization of man. The poor ruled the rich, and the rich had the esoteric knowledge. Even a simple thing as to know to take the water from the river at the point that is in the sun, or how to handle raw meat, was esoteric knowledge. It was esoteric knowledge, but there is always one that rises from the rubble with the wisdom of the elite that shocks the elite, and this is the one who will try to save the people, but it is also the one who will be crucified and his head ordered by the same subjects on a silver platter. Is this not the ongoing reality? Jesus did not come to die, but to bring life, and his blood was made into wine. He was hung on the cross, and vampires and cannibals tear him and drink his blood to this day. John the Baptist came as a healer. He developed an holistic threefold healing ritual referred to as a baptism to save the dying, tormented souls. This baptism was a 3 or 7 year purification ritual that amounted to a complete rebirth of the individual who, by that time, will re-access his own internal God. John brought man back to the herbs, back to nature, back to the holistic spirit of divine man. He did not come here to die, but to save lives. His head was ordered on a silver platter. When all men lost their faculty to Godhood, they lost also their faculty to heal. There was one who had the secret, and natural trait became a secret. Now you have to serve to be included, and then came the doctor. Some would do good and some would do bad. John the Baptist was a mighty and beneficent healer among the dying. John's aunt bore a young cousin to him. The youngster was a charismatic and wise one, and he adored John and the works of John. So after they met, the youngster also went through the baptismal process of John. For 7 years he went, doing the rituals, including the fasting for 40 days, destroying all parasites and renewing the body. He too wanted to become a healer, doing all these wonderful things for the souls of the earth plane. He too wanted to be the empath as an angel sent by Almighty God. This divine child was a Yesu from the Asin people, not not a breach of contract, not an evil, unholy thing. A people, Asin. They call him Jesus, and many misunderstood the concept of the blazing sun, healer and light bringer of the cosmic. Yes, many misunderstood the concept of the blazing sun, healer and light bringer of the cosmic in their rituals and teachings. But now they say we stargaze. Now they say don't worship the sun for its blasphemy. They stand up in the sun, and it is the vitamin D from that celestial force that saved them the very day, but of this they are not aware. It was upon the waning of the full moon that the universe gave okay to cut the broadleaf tree into lumber without it splitting and spoiling the board. But they say that tarot readers and sky gazers are going to hell. The nature of the earth mother is to intercourse, to make intercourse with the heavenly Father and create for the children of earth. So when the earth woman is barren, we know what time it is in the cosmic, for the farmer will not plant beneath the soil at that time, as the crop will not grow. But they say those that observe it are witches, deserving to be crucified. But when the woman is on her period and cannot make intercourse, she merely follows the same example of Mother Earth to the farmers, and it is that there must be a renewal of everything. And these renewal periods must be known and observed as those that show by the cycles in the cosmic. We denounce all the wisdom for ignorance, don't we? John the Baptist looked up, knowing the circuits and the seasons of the cosmic and what they were saying to the human flocks. He was a master of the zodiac, and Jesus was so excited and wanted to learn, so he himself could be a great teacher like John. Yes, John knew these things to a degree that his way of creating outcomes seemed like magic. But for what purpose was John's baptismal ritual, and how was it done? For it is not a 1 minute dip inside the water. A 1 minute dip inside the water was a mere ritual of agreement that the initiate would leave that worldly way of life behind him and come into the process of rebirth. That rebirth was scientific. Science will understand the phases in 3 months, 3 years, and then 7 years completion. And we know by the energies of the cosmic. For example, we know that in these rituals there was a mantra, more than one mantra for 1 day, morning, evening, and noon. And we also understand the currents. Just like you go to the ocean and you talk about currents, the currents in the cosmic. Like, for example, the seventh day was chosen by the Essenes, was chosen by John as a day of rest, because the cosmic said on the seventh day, every time it came, it said rest. Why does the cosmic say rest on the seventh day? Or how does the cosmic say rest on the seventh day? Let me explain. The seventh day was John's Sabbath because during all the other days, it is not a random day. It is the day when the cosmic says rest. On all the days you wake up in the morning with your pressure, your blood pressure at a certain height, and it goes at noon to a higher height, right? But on the seventh day, the cosmic move in a different way. It is the only day when the pressure are stilled for a longer time, which is telling you to rest. This is what happens on the seventh day, every seventh day. This cosmic says in your blood itself to rest. Your pressure is lower and ready to rest. So these things were not just randomly done, they were done according to the cosmic. Everything is connected to the cosmic. And if I should go, even your heart rate is connected to the cosmic. At the end of 7 years, you are so deeply ritualized, you have repeated all the mantras, like, for example, the sevenfold peace, that nothing or no one will take that peace from you ever again. Then the universe will serve you and you will never more know disease. By repeating and being that divine purpose, by repeating and being that divine purpose, you put behind you the days when the mind was willing, but the flesh was weak. You put behind you that thing that you wanted to stop saying, but could not stop, or to stop doing, but could not refrain from. You become at peace with the all and at peace with yourself, for your body renews in every 7 years. And in that 7 years, you are in the sevenfold peace. And if you change your thoughts and diet to a determination, this renewed body will come to a renewed mind, and a revived and awakened spirit of the Most High God will now sit within it. This is the baptismal ritual of John the Baptist that Jesus also perfected. The ritual begins by the river. The initiates take no flesh meat or pollutants into their bodies. They stay for up to 30 days to heal. Most that suffered in those days would suffer because of parasites, especially stomach worms, and Jesus had learned the process of skillfully removing them. In those days, Jesus did a colon cleanse ritual. It is that same thing that your doctors do when he washes out your colon with fluid. Whoever has patented this today is a liar. Maybe he read an ancient book. Jesus put a hollow vine like a hose to a gourd filled with water, and the end was plugged to that person's rear end. The colon was washed until the water that came from that person changed from brown to the colorless image of water. After that purification process, they were kept to their mission to be reborn, saying their mantras for each day, and to the father and mother, not just to the father like you do in the synagogue. For without a mother, no seed will be sown. The father, the mother, and the child. The father, the mother, and the child. The father, the mother, and the spice. And the child. Spirit is at another dimension, and at that dimension where lies the spirit, it encompasses all, not just the father. Father, mother, and child, and the spirit is all encompassing. Where would the farmer put the seed without the earth? In fact, the healing brought heaven to earth in all the uses of all the healing elements. It brings together the male and the female. Sunlight, air, water, and earth were pivotal combinations. You cannot go to the Father until you be nurtured by your mother. This ritual brings you through the mother to again ascend to the Father. So you cannot get yourself to the Father but through the mother. So the mother cannot be omitted. The moment the mother is omitted, you cannot ascend to your Father. No one gets to the Father but through the mother. The purification of spirit is a delicate process. Some will not only refrain from eating flesh food or entertaining adverse thoughts, some will refrain from sexual activities by being celibate. They become sure of themselves. They protect their energies. Sex is a divine ritual and never can it be performed without conceiving something. Every time a sexual ritual is done, you create a child. Only rarely will you create one in the physical dimension. Women are open vessels. Must be careful about having multiple partners. Men do have a bit of an advantage, but only to some degree. There are other ways that stigma will be attached without the open vessel or the subjective perspective. He too must be careful. Many folks that become celibate feel safer protecting themselves from adverse issues. Others continue with their partners. It is a matter of choice and a careful approach to with whom or how you will engage forthwith. There are too many sick people in your churches. It is because they are not baptized, and neither do they follow the baptismal way of Jesus or John the Baptist. Neither do they follow the baptismal way of Jesus or John the Baptist. Instead, they follow the way of the vampire demons, pleading for blood, hating and tearing the flesh of their own saviors all day. By this time, every Messiah is reluctant to save you for fear of being eaten. And with what you have prepared for Jesus, with this cross and calling for his blood, why do you think he will come to you? Peace out.